I would briefly like to tell about three major aspects. The first one is why growth and in particular CRM is important for OYO and especially for a company which is into consumer tech domain. The second thing is how our campaigns has evolved over the time. And the third thing is how our team has evolved as the campaigns has evolved over the time. We have presence in 500 cities, more than 10 plus countries, different geographies. We have 18,000 plus leased and franchised business over different geographies. Handling so many keys across different geographies comes with a great responsibility of fill these rooms. I think that's where growth plays a very important, lever to fill the huge supply that OYO has. Mostly filling these rooms has a huge dependency on the online channel, preferably from a mobile-first approach that we have. Conversions across the mobile app is hugely skewed if you compare to other channels like web and other offline channels. So our approach for growth is mobile-first. Everything we do for the app first and for every other channels later on. As you can see the numbers, app has 5x more revenue than any other channels. It drives 2x more conversion than any other platforms. It has 2x the LTV if you compare to any other channels. How has this journey been so far for this CRM? So I've distributed this into three phases. Each phase has its own challenges, it has its own solution, and the team has aligned itself in the same manner. Before building CRM, the first and the foremost important point is how do you find out the right tool for CRM? I often give analogy to a CRM tool with our own body. So body has two major parts of it. One is the brain and another is the muscle part. And similarly, CRM tool also has these two aspects. The brain part, obviously, the tool has to give you a lot of insights in terms of customer journeys, in terms of smart segmentation, in terms of analytics, like MoEngage has a lot of role to play in terms of what is your strategy going to be, how are you executing these campaigns. The second part is the muscle part. The muscle part basically has a lot of things to do with the execution part. How easy it is to execute any campaign, what is your delivery rate going to be, how much scalable the tool is, if you have to support different geographies, different vernacular languages, how can these tools help you in achieving that? We are very happy to partner with MoEngage, which has done pretty well in these two aspects. Once our tool is set up, so we started a very generic campaigns. So we had a small team, started with the generic campaigns, and we had a basic process setup. So like basic segmentation processes, basic maker-checker processes, setting up the calendar of the sales and the campaigns. Coming to the second phase of the journey, everything was very generic. And the challenge that we tried to tackle in the second phase was adding the personalization layer on all these campaigns. So broadly, we did 4 big experiments to add the personalization layer to the CRM campaigns. The first was the city prediction. Now, the bigger challenge that OYO faces in terms of CRM, which no other industry faces, is the prediction of the city. If you take an example of any e-commerce or any cab hailing services, they know which city the user is present and where he is going to travel. With OYO, the case is not the same. In OYO, you have to predict which city a user wants to travel. If a user is present in Delhi, he might or might not be willing to book in Delhi itself, right? So how do you build a personalization and say that, okay, you have to travel to Mumbai, this is our offer for Mumbai. This was the first level of personalization that we did. The second level of personalization was identifying the right intent of the customers. How can you find out what kind of browsing a user is doing, what kind of events he's doing on the app, so that you can find out what is the right intent of the user. Obviously, your effort won't be same for a high-intent user and a low-intent user, right? Understanding the right intent of the customers, delivering the campaign and delivering the right offer for right intent users is another aspect that we have carried up. The third thing was the recommendation model. So for a consumer company, it's always important that how can you make your consumer's life very easy, right? And you can make your life easier for OYO customer if you can recommend certain hotel with the right city, right locality, and the right category for a user. So this was the third experiment that we did. How can you recommend a hotel on the basis of their browsing pattern that, look, this is the hotel that is particularly suited for you. And we can see the data itself. There was 2x left in the revenue from the same campaign once you have started recommending the hotel to the end user. The fourth and the last big experiment was the engagement campaign. The challenge that OYO was facing is, again, unlike any other industry, is the use case for OYO is not that frequent. You don't need a hotel every day. So there can be a user who travels 2 times a month. There can be a user who travels once in a year. How can you keep OYO on the top of users' mind? How can you help engage users who can come on your app daily, engage with the app, and whenever they need a transaction, how can we leverage that engagement in terms of your users' conversion? So we have a flagship program called OYO Q for this engagement, which is a simple quiz-based program. A user opens every day, engages with the app, does some question and answers, wins something, some offers, and end up doing the transaction whenever they need it. Obviously, the results for these were very positive, and you can see the lift in terms of conversion, in terms of personalization, and lift in the revenue. The third and most important phase came when you have personalized your campaigns. How can you integrate that with the customer lifecycle management? A user who has done only one booking on the platform and the user who is a very power user who is kind of advocate for OYO cannot be treated in the same way. We tried to read these browsing and booking patterns and their affinity to pay. And we took all these data and defined a RFM model which basically takes into the consideration on what kind of stage he is present in his life cycle, and then integrate with the other personalization layer that we built in the phase 2. If I give you a use case, a user who is traveling for business purpose, say in Bangalore or say in Delhi, their preference is something else. The same user, if he travels in a leisure market, the preference becomes different, right? So how can you leverage these kind of information and give a right product fit for a user? That's a very important aspect when CRM campaigns are concerned. And similarly, we aligned our team in the same fashion. So now the team structure has become very difficult from where we started. The acquisition team focuses on how to bring new user on the app. But after that, the CRM, we broke up into 3 parts. The first was the baby care CRM, which only focuses on the new user. Starting from the install to sign up to the first bookings, we call it a baby care CRM. That you have to handle the users starting from when you install the app and then putting them through the transactions. Once they have done it, then the retention CRM comes into the picture. So retention CRM basically focuses on how can you ask them user to transact on your platform again and again. Can you predict when is the next use case for that user? Can you predict which category he would like to book a room, which city he would be going to travel, what kind of offer he would be liking? So these kind of intelligence retention CRM team puts into the campaigns and then try to drive the repeat business from the same user. And can we move that new user or the early stage user to a power user? So that's KPI of a retention CRM team. The fourth team that we have is churn team. The basic objective is to win back these churned users. Now, if I give example of 2 users, say a user A travels twice in a month, another user B travels twice in a year, and both the users have not come on the app or have not done transaction on the platform from last 2 months. You cannot tag both the user as churned user because their use cases are very different, right? So identifying those users who are churned on the basis of their life cycle, on the basis of their use cases, on the basis of the frequency they travel. So that is what drives the churn team to win back those users. How can you leverage these personalization, the offers to win back those churned users are the KPIs of the churn team. These are the few screenshots of what kind of campaigns we run. So first is a very generic campaign that we have started in the phase 1. A basic offer, a general blanket mass blast kind of offer that we send to a user. The second is the hotel recommendation, that you are traveling to Varanasi, this is the hotel you would prefer. The third is the personalization on the basis of use case, that we are predicted at traveling with your loved one. I think this is the offer most suitable for you. And the fourth one is supporting the international market. So how can you leverage a vernacular language in different geographies? Sending a notification in a Bahasa language in Indonesia is something that, that defines the scalability of the CRM. So across all these phases, whenever we added a layer of personalization on that campaign, we have seen our traffic, our conversion has doubled up. I think it's a journey that every company goes through when they try to understand the users, their preferences, what kind of things work or what not works. So these were the three phases that OYO has gone through, and still in the learning phase, and still a lot to evolve. Thank you everyone for your patient hearing.